Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mark. Well, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a couple years. It's the Terrova. I've had the Terrova now going on almost 3 years, I think, somewhere in that area. It has been a great trolling motor. I have had no issues with the trolling motor itself, its operation. I do have one complaint about that. Now, on this foot pedal, you got a speed setting of 1 to 10. And basically, until you get between 3 and 4, you really don't feel a whole lot. So they probably should have just not done 0 through 3. I'm sure on like an 80-pound thrust, you're probably going to get more action out of those first 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 settings. But on this one, you don't get a whole lot until you get between like 3, 4. If you're on 2, you don't even notice the boat. It doesn't help per se. But now, you know, the obvious one for a lot of people that want to put a transducer on this that really does kind of suck, you have to come up with a solution or pay for a solution to run your transducer cable. You'll see a lot of people run it down this shaft. On the older model, that shaft was a lot deeper, so that was possible. And on these new ones, it's really not. For instance, on the Garmin unit, this cable is too thick to even think about doing that, passing it through the knuckle right here when the shaft goes through. You can't do that. I wouldn't do that. You're gonna chap that cable up something fierce. So, you know, in my case, I came up with the bike lock solution. I'm not the only one on the planet that's done this, but it's been a good solution. I've had 0 issues with this. I did start off having it clipped up here, and I ended up moving it to basically where the lock goes to lock down the mounting plate for this. And it's, of course, you want to use stainless steel stuff to avoid rust. But the third thing that I'm kind of, well, there's 4 actually, but the third one is mounting the Livescope to the Terrova. A lot of people have bought solutions that range anywhere from $80 to a few $100s. And if you had an Ultrex, an Edge, a Fortrex, a Maxim, non-issue. But if you have an Altera or a Terrova, mounting any of that to this is going to come at a cost, an extra cost. Mine, which I made a temporary solution for my Panoptix. This is version 1, okay? I only did this basically to get it up and running, just to see how it is. But I have it on a gaffing pole that I had broke a long time ago. This has been sitting in the garage for a while. So what I got is a Scotty Gearhead mount. This was for my Elite 5 Ti fish finder years ago. But 2 U-bolts at a cost of about $2.45. And basically it just snaps in. There you go. It's on this Scotty armature to the Scotty base plate right here. But that's what it looks like. And like I said, this is temporary. I have a solution for the Terrova coming very soon that was equally as cheap. If you had to go buy all this stuff that's on this pole was like $28 at Bass Pro Shops 4 years ago. The perspective mount I did buy, they're on sale right now. They're normally $100 at Bass Pro. They're marked down to $49.99. or $49.95, I forget. This gear solution here, the Scotty mount, I mean, you're looking at about $35 to $40 for all of that. So, I mean, you're still into this thing about $100. But I had all this laying around, so it wasn't a cost I had to incur right now. Now, my solution for the Terrova that I'm going to work on this weekend is basically going to cost about $10. And I already have the perspective mount. So you're looking at a grand total of about a $60 purchase for what I'm going to do. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to give it hell. So that's, you know, in a nutshell, those are the biggest problems I think that are involved Terrova ownership as far as mounting things. Now, on the tracker model boats, the 160, 170, and these Classic Series boats from the Heritage, Classic, and Classic XL, owners are seeing, and I've mentioned this before, but cracking across the side that they mounted on. I obviously have had mine fixed. You guys saw that. I've had no issues since, zero cracking. It was a very proper weld that I was received. And thankfully, Phil, if you're watching, thank you again. But, you know, some people have had theirs welded and it didn't look good. Some people have taken them back to tracker boat centers and waited months for fixes that didn't hold. And then they also had I know of one person I spoke to, Michael Russell, who had an alternative lid put on top of his that was almost a ½ inch thick, and he's had no issues since. So, you know, depending on the severity of your damage, probably is going to depend on the proper fix. And how long your boat's going to be in the shop. You know, if you do have a crack in your hull and tracker is going to warranty that, I would probably do that right now so you can have your boat in March. So anyway, guys, I just kind of wanted to talk about the Terrova. I'm still on the original prop. I mean, it's got some rashes on it, but this boat gets in extremely shallow water, and, you know, once in a while I bump into things. Other than that, it's a solid motor. I'm glad I have it. But we'll see what happens with, like I said, with this Terrova Panoptix mount situation. One caveat to having something with spot lock with this configuration of a trolling motor is when you hit spot lock, okay, and you have your Panoptix mounted to the shaft of this, it's gonna, if anybody has this, they know when they hit spot lock, it's adjusting constantly, so you will not get a focus on a target if you're in spot lock, unless it's dead ass calm and it's just sitting there. So the boat I fished out of last weekend had I believe it was 112-pound Maxim, and it's a big boat, so it doesn't move around as much as one of these flat bottom boats, and his is on his trolling motor. And you can do that, but you're constantly on the foot pedal watching that target. So that's kind of why I went with that pole mount idea first, so I can operate this and position the boat where I want it, and that will stay stationary. So at any rate, I'm also looking at possibly a second screen. They got a swinging deal at Sportsman's Warehouse right now on the 7-inch model of the Garmin. It's the 73 SV with the, I think it's the GT54 transducer. At first they labeled it GT56, and I noticed within about a day they had that corrected because I would have already bought it. From what I hear though, the GT56 transducer is just a hair different than the 54. There's not a whole lot of difference, so to warrant maybe spending more money. But I think I'm going to use the 9-inch for the Livescope Panoptix setup, and then buy the 7-inch and fashion something so I can have them both right here. And I'm going to definitely get this one higher. Anybody that has this knows when you start doing it, you look down a lot, and after a long day of fishing, your back hurts. So getting this up higher is paramount. But anyway, if you guys got anything out of this, great. I hope you're having a great week. For you guys that won stuff in the giveaway, the last giveaway, that stuff is going in the mail. I've just been incredibly busy. It's holidays, and I'm working a ton, so it's coming. And I will see you guys very soon. Hope you guys have a great week. Take it easy.